ahead of the Saturday's elections. That's the national executive elections. Tonight, we are focusing on that position that has 7 people running for it. One of the few positions where the incumbent is in the election with his deputy also vying for the same position with some other stalwarts within the NDC. One will be joining me in studio, one from the Ashanti region. He was previously a deputy sports minister. He's been regional secretary before, and he's sometimes controversial in the Republic of Ghana. We'll be having that conversation with him. In the course of this conversation, the national organizer himself will be joining the conversation. He's, we understand, somewhere in Cape Coast, still campaigning, perhaps last minute gunning for more votes to join the race. A former National Communications Officer, Solomon Nkansah, will equally be joining this conversation. And that we'll all put it together as we prepare. I'm sure by now, if you are within the NDC, you know the front runners going into this election. We should also be able to get you a better understanding of what's happening in here. So let me come straight to Joseph Yamin. I hope you are doing well.
Yeah, I am.
Yes. Have you run up campaign? Have you ended the campaign? Are you now wrapping up with a few people, or you are just engaging Greater Accra delegates now?
Oh no, I'm done. I'm done.
You are done?
I'm done with all the 16 regions. I ended it up in Kumasi. That was Tuesday. Yeah.
That's some confidence. Are you convinced you will win the election?
Oh, I'm winning the election. Yes.
Or you are just in the race because you have to show?
I'm winning. I'm winning the election. I'm just looking at the margin of victory. That's all.
You are trying to look at margin of victory first?
Yeah. I've won the election. I'm just looking at the margin.
It's interesting how you bring in the issue to do a margin of victory. But let me ask this important question. It's because it's at the core of it. Why do you think you are better than Akamba? Why do you think Akamba and his deputy, who is also in the election, are not the best people to continue this particular role?
I'm not better than Akamba.
Oh, okay.
No. It's just a party position that is, you decide which position you want to serve the party. I've been a regional secretary before. I chose to be a regional secretary. I would have gone for regional chairman at that time or any other position. But you assess yourself to find out where you can play a very good role for the party. The ultimate aim of every political party is to win political power. So at this point, I think that assessing myself, I can do a better job as a national organizer for the party to win power. And that's the decision I took now. And that's what I'm going. So it's not about whether somebody performs or doesn't perform. As at now, it's a 4-year mandate given to the party. So you have the 4 years. Whether you did good or you did bad, it is incumbent on the other people to want to say that, well, you can go unopposed. Like Sami Jamfi is going unopposed. Even with that, he had a contest. But the person dropped out because of some issue. So he's going unopposed. All other positions are contested. Some incumbents are deciding not to go again. For instance, one of the vice chairmen, Sinari, decided not to go again. It's his choice. Others want to stay. The General Secretary is moving to contest the national chairman. The national chairman prefers to still maintain his position. It's just because the positions are now vacant. It's not for any other person. You assess yourself, you go to the delegates, you tell the delegates what you can do, and if they assess you and think that you are better, they put you there.
I still need an assessment of the current executives. How have they delivered, especially the organizer and his deputy?
Perfect, but I didn't win this election. Ultimate is to win election, so we still need to do better.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah. So why didn't their perfect delivery win the election?
Of course, it still doesn't make it bad, but the point is that we didn't win the election.
Now, the point that's being made here, it's about a party that's supposed to go into an election in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Some are saying that internal contest sometimes brings some difficulties within the political party. We saw what happened with the youth elections. Wow. We saw, even now, there are still some rippling effect from that particular engagement. Yeah. It's, okay, well, I'm asked to take a break. So after this break, we continue this conversation.
That's right.
It must be directed.
You're welcome back to UPfront, and I need to apologize to you for that interruption. But I can continue with the conversation. My guest in studio is Joseph Yamin. The conversation we started was to get to know why he's in this race and what has been the performance. But he said the people who are already in office are doing the perfect job, but they didn't deliver the elections. Is the more reason why you can deliver the election. That question is outstanding.
Yeah.
What can you do differently to make sure that the NDC wins this election?
Am I supposed to put my strategies on?
No, of course. I mean, yeah.
What I
Yes.
think I know, what I believe in.
Since after this campaign, the strategies are basically done anyways.
What I know is that with Yamin as the national organizer of the NDC, victory is assured.
Really?
Whatever I will do is left with me and my party people to do. As a security person, I know that I'm not supposed to put whatever strategies I have on air. But what I can tell you is that immediately Yamin is elected the national organizer, 1/4 of the NDC is in the Flagstaff House.
Really? Yeah. What constitutionally is the role of the national organizer?
Basically, it looks like the engine of the party. The chairman supervises, is the head of the party, chair meetings and other stuff. The general secretary is the administrative head of the party, takes everything through. National organizer pulls the party onto the field. So it becomes a field operation person. You have the wings by you, the youth and the women's wing. We have the Zongo caucus as one of the wings of the party. Then a good organizer should be a one that can communicate or be able to move and understand the communication department of the party. I have that, and that's why we need to move into the election. Yeah.
There is the thinking that those of you within the party, in fact, the Constitution says that you have to do membership drive, mobilize support for the party, and ensure high voter turnout in any of the elections in which the party is involved.
Yeah.
Between 2016 and 2020, the NDC's votes increased, including its percentage. Is that not a very good reason why the current executive should continue their role?
It didn't win as elections.
So without the ultimate, they cannot do it?
No. I mean, the assessment is based on whether we won election. NDC is not going into the election just because we want to be part of the elections. We are going in there to win. We have the best of flag bearer among all the flag bearers that we have, including the sitting president.
Really?
Yeah. We have the best person to lead Ghana. So if we go into election and we don't win the election, it means that we failed.
So it was not a candidate. It was the machine
No,
that went
it's
to
the
the election.
machinery that went in. Whether it's the candidate or we all fall within that same.
Okay.
It's a body called the NDC. We didn't win the election. But the flag bearer doesn't take the NDC into election. It's the party that takes the NDC into an election. So it's the duty of the national executives to ensure that the flag bearer wins the elections.
Now, I'll come to ask you this question, but I'm told that one of your own, Solomon Nkansah, is also joining this conversation. I need to briefly take his thoughts on this particular point before we move on. Mr. Nkansah, you're welcome to UPfront.
Hello.
Yes, good evening. Maybe I go straight to the point. Why do you think this is a perfect time for you to remove Joshua Kamba and be the next national organizer?
Hello.
Yes, if you can hear Mr. Nkansah.
Your line is very thin.
Yes, so the question I was asking is why you think you should be replacing Joshua Kamba this time around.
Thank you, and good evening to your cherished listeners.
Very well.
As a matter of fact, the NDC needs a paradigm shift in our organizational structure, systems, and programs that we're introducing over the years. And I think that the current crop of organizers who are manning that office have not demonstrated that they have what it takes to lead the NDC to the electoral victory anytime soon.
Now, that's an interesting perception of what's been happening. But why do you think it should be you rather and not, say, Joseph Yamin?
It should be me because I'm the one who has experience, who understands the geopolitical nature of NDC, our internal strengths and weaknesses, and things that we can do to turn our fortunes around. Joseph Yamin and others are just an added-on guys who have come on to add to the beauty of the contest. Most of them have not run the office of organizer before. I have been a former Western Regional Youth Organizer. a former Deputy National Propaganda Secretary in charge of operations. And I have been one of the guys, whenever we attend by-elections, I play role as an organizer. And I most often times I not take difficult areas so that we'll be able to turn our fortunes around. Particular of them is the talented by-elections, and I'm influenced by elections. So that is what makes me better candidate than the other.
It's interesting. The ultimate aim of any political party to annex political power. From where you sit, where did the current executive fail, and how uniquely positioned are you to fill in that gap?
You see, when this happened, you pushed me into having a banter with those who were at office. And that is not what I seek to do. What I seek to do is to provide alternative to the NDC electorate for them to appreciate the need for them to hand over the office of the national organizer to Solomon Nkansah, because I've been able to provide them a better alternative in terms of organization, better alternative in terms of presence, better alternative in terms of what the NDC will do in terms of coalition, in terms of rallying party members about. And the need for the NDC to have somebody who appreciates time and will allow research and other things that are lacking in NDC's organizational department to flow and to cause NDC to win 2024 elections.
Now, with the current happenings in the party, there are some who are of the opinion that a contest of any kind, especially the one that we are going into on Saturday, it's not necessarily a good thing for the party. Of course, democracy allows that you need to contest, somebody ought to win the election, and the results will be declared in the ways that you want it to be. From where you sit today, is everything set for the election? Are you aware of the kind of delegate list they are going to use for this election? And are there any difficulties you have with that?
Particularly, yes, there are some lapses and deficiencies in the process towards election. But then, if you want to be an organizer, you should know and also work around the clock to make sure that things in terms of organization of the Congress will not be a disadvantage to you. I already have my delegate list. My agents who will go into the election will monitor and police the results, the persons who appear as delegates. Already, I have my plans in every constituency. So the issue of monitoring and observing closely that non-delegates will not infiltrate and come and vote in this upcoming Congress has been put in place. Security and other things that will make sure that the best person wins is also being put in place. I particularly don't think that we should host the Congress due to the fact that some things have not worked to perfection. But I have left Accra for quite a long time, so I don't know the latest development. But be that as it may, if there are certain teething challenges that could undermine a smooth Congress, then when persons raised will come on board and debate it and draw a conclusion as to whether the Congress should come on or otherwise.
I know you're actually contesting the organizer position, so is Joseph Yamin, but there's an important question about where your loyalties lie ultimately. Are you with the Nkansah bloc, or you are actually with the Oswampofu bloc?
I'm a Fanti, and I come from the coast. And so I will give you the analogy of somebody who is swimming. If you are in a swimming competition or if you are swimming to safety, you don't carry anybody at your back or behind you so that you get drowned. This contest is like swimming. So I don't need to carry anybody behind me. Mind you, the electorate or the delegates are cut across. There are some who like me who also prepare general to C for C. There are some who like C for C, who like me, who prefer C for C to general. So it is incumbent on me to find a way of navigating to a safe bet without offending both sides, loyalists or supporters. So for me, if you ask this question, my answer to you is that I am working to convince the NDC delegates to vote for me.
We need to leave it here. We should follow up on what happens on Saturday, and perhaps we'll speak after the election. I'm grateful that you joined us from your campaign rounds and made time to do so, Mr. Nkansah.
Most grateful.
He was a national, they used to call it propaganda secretary, but now it's National Communications Officer of the NDC. He now wants to be the national organizer. I have another front runner in studio here who would, I mean, of course, it's right to call you a front runner, right? At least those with the eyes on the ground may know.
Well, you can also call me the yet to be sworn in national organizer.
No, but that's taking it yet to be sworn in.
If I'm a front runner,
it means that you have the chances of winning the election. Okay. It doesn't mean that you are.
So if I have a chance, it means that I can be waiting to be sworn in.
You can be waiting to be sworn in. No, we're talking about what you have to do to actually push the fortunes of the party.
Yeah.
How would you push that? Because membership is important.
Yeah.
And also making sure that you organize properly is important. How would you push up membership, for example?
The party has structures. We deal with the constituencies that supervises the branches. And that's where we get our membership from. Okay. And so there are structures in place. Each constituency has its own dynamics. So a very good national organizer, an experienced national organizer, should find a way of getting a strategy for each constituency. And before you can do that, you just need to get to the constituency, understand the constituency yourself as a national organizer. Sit down with the constituency executive, let them give you the dynamics of the constituency for you to understand. They give you a plan. You add up whatever knowledge that you have acquired as a national figure and put in a finishing touches so that you can get a program that even if you are not in the constituency, you could easily monitor the progress of work. And anytime you get to the constituency, you shouldn't find difficulties in fitting into the strategy. That's what we need to adopt now. That's what I'll be doing.
That's interesting. Ensuring high voter turnout at any election in which the party is actually involved in. So now I'm sure everybody is looking at 2024. Yeah. It will be seminal. It will be so important an election. The opposition, the government is seeking to actually break the 8. Yeah. In all fairness, what mobilization or ensuring high voter turnout cards do you up your sleeve?
Well, as now I'm talking to you as an aspirant. Yes. I'm sure the next time we'll be here in just about a week or so. We'll be talking about the national organizer. And if I sit here and tell you what I'll be doing, I mean,
I'm just seeking to find out what you've been telling the delegates.
Yes, for me, the delegates, I'm telling them how and what to know from the aspirants and how to select, because we're going to select our leaders. And before you can win an election, your leadership is very important. Okay. So when you have very good leaders that can lead the charge of the party, that is what is important. So as at now, it's not about what strategy you're going to put in place. It's about who and who will be your national executive. A very strong team. And the team comes together after the election, put up a plan and move on. So at the plan, then works are delegated to different departments for us to move forward.
It's because of this question because of this answer that I need to ask you this question. So which camp do you belong to, frankly?
No,
deep with your heart.
I don't belong to a camp. I'm not sure anybody. I chose to be a national organizer.
Yes.
And I've not convinced delegates to vote for me, so I won't be convincing
because
people to
whoever is elected in other positions also is important, right? You just said.
Yeah, of course, it's very important.
So you have preference, in all fairness.
Do they have preference?
Do they support you?
I don't know. What I know is that it's going to be individuals coming together collectively at a point. And so some people are going through the national organizer position. They will finally end up at the national headquarters. Some are going through the national chairman position, will finally end up at the national court. Some from the youth will end up. So at the end, when we end up together, then we have a team to move forward. As at now, I am yet to talk to delegates to give me the nod. And so that's my focus, that's my concentration.
Now, the other point, though, it's the already done elections, right?
Yeah.
Am I to presume that because you are from the Ashanti region, you supported Broja Jemfi?
It's not a secret that I supported Broja Jemfi. Not because I'm coming from Ashanti region, but I believe that Broja Jemfi could have done a very good job for the NDC. But it's that the delegates to decide. So I decided to stay back. It's not news that one needs to be told that Yamin is supporting Broja Jemfi. But what was very important is that I don't incur the wrath of the young guys who are going to take decision for who becomes their leader. So I present them the opportunity. They elect whoever they want to. If I had vote, my vote would have gone to Broja Jemfi. But I didn't have it. I'm not a youth delegate. The delegates decided. And I think that that's their choice. What is important is that who and who are going into the contest. As long as you pick yourself and you are vetted and cleared, you have what it takes to be a member of the National Executive. Delegates now decide who among them is their choice. So the youth and the women have decided that now we are waiting for the main structure. We decide we're going together, then we form a strong team.
You have said that you are done with your campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, there is always this thinking about pillars of campaign. To you, what was your most challenging in terms of convincing people that you are the best person they should put in the organizer position?
I never had any.
Regions?
No.
Constituencies?
No.
Not at all?
No. I've worked my way to this level.
I mean, so
party
as the
people,
others anyway.
Of
I
course.
mean, so Nkansah was
before-
saying that those of you who are joining him the race are basically her guests on. He has a lot more experience.
Well, I don't disagree with him, but probably he has put in what he has done in the party before. I've been a constituency executive, 2 times parliamentary candidate, regional secretary of the party. What again do I need to get to the top? Solomon Nkansah has never been a parliamentary candidate before, but he's been a regional youth organizer before. I've been a regional secretary of the party before.
But he's also been a national.
Yes, because
communications officer.
we decided that he goes in, because at that point I didn't want to come in there because I was a regional secretary. That didn't mean he was the youth organizer and lost election to Honorable Akando then, and he had the opportunity because at that particular point in time we had times in between the constituency and the region. And so if you lose at a branch, you could still move ahead to join. So he had the opportunity after losing at the regional level to join the national level. And when he joined the national level, some of us decided that we'll give him the mandate. That doesn't mean that he has what it takes to be there better than us. At whatever point, the last time I went for regional chairman, this time I decided no, the party will have the full strength of Yamin as a national organizer. They decided to come, not because I'm better than those that have gone for regional contest, but they have chosen to be at the region. I have decided to come at the national level.
Are you a firebrand?
What does that mean?
It's been reported in times back that you had no difficulties with the use of vigilantes in political parties.
Yeah.
And in the Ashanti region, for example, you stood up for some of them.
Not for some of them. We don't have vigilantes in our party.
Okay.
The NDC, we've never had vigilantes. So sometimes you are
Azoka
comparing
boys.
averages.
Azoka boys.
They are not vigilante groups.
Really?
They are party members.
Oh, okay. We
Go
can
and
disagree
find-
on how we call them.
No, they are party members. Go and find out from them. Some are branch executives, some are constituency executives, some are national executives. They are members, card-bearing members of the NDC. So why do you call them vigilante groups? They are just brought in together to give the internal security. And you see, that's one thing that we fail to understand. As we are going into a contest now, the police comes in to ask us, what are your internal security arrangements? Do we have police in the NDC?
No.
Do we have soldiers in the NDC? So when the police are asking us what our internal security arrangements are, what they mean is that do you have people that can put up so that we know which numbers we are also going to come and beef up security? And these boys, you call them vigilantes. I don't call them vigilantes. Are the ones that gives us the internal security. Their work is to give us internal security. And that is what we are going to use them for. But when you are comparing them to the activities of the MPP, where they brought in people, specifically train them to undertake a certain activity for the party. That's where you call vigilante. And when I'm speaking about vigilantism, I know what I'm talking about. That was my thesis topic for when I'm doing the Masters in Defense and International Politics. I've researched purely on vigilantism. I know what I'm talking about. Our boys are not vigilantes and will never be vigilantes.
Was it one of the reasons why you were asking why we're in a rush to pass the vigilante law?
Of course, I still disagree with our party signing that law. You don't have vigilantes, why do you sign that law?
Really?
Yeah, we don't.
So when you said that the Hawks will never be disbanded, what did you mean? Of course, the party disagreed with you on it.
Of course, but
the party
I
said
still stand by
you
my
were on
words.
your own in this particular person.
I still stand by it, and the Hawks have never been disbanded, and they will never be disbanded because they are not vigilante groups, and you will see them.
They are not a
coming up.
vigilante groups, or they were no Hawks at all.
They are Hawks. They are there. They are not vigilantes. They have never been disbanded. They are still alive, and they will still be working for the party.
But so whose word should we believe? It was officially stated by the party. Of course, there was even the communique signed by all political parties that they no longer have any relationship with vigilante groups.
Because the party didn't understand the operations of the group we call the Hawks. They are party people. I tell you, some are constituency chairmen, some are constituency youth organizers, some are branch executives. They are party people. So we're disbanding the group that never existed. They are there. I'm sure the party now understand that they are not a vigilante group.
But you apologized for the comment.
Who apologized?
You, yes. 14th of March 2019. You apologized to the NDC.
I apologized for the statement I made that I disagree with the party again.
Okay.
Yes, I spoke on your sister station.
Yes, I get that. I'm not disputing
and the party was not happy that I came up against
opposed to the official position
of the party. That was what I apologized for, not the position that the boys had. They are still there, and nobody can disband them. But government has put in their people in security services, put them in uniform and just terrorizing people, killing people. The people that are shooting and killing people are the vigilantes of the young people.
Where?
You know, the 8 people that died out of the elections.
The 2020 election.
And all
the
those.
police is
when you have
that.
A police, how long would it take them to investigate? How long
they
does
have
it
transferred
take
it to the court case unit.
How long does it take to investigate somebody that we all know that somebody got onto his knees, targeted an individual, shot that individual, that person was sent there by authorities, and you tell how long does it take to identify that person and identify what reason behind his shooting? My security teachings tells me that whoever holds a rifle from the office is going by some commands. And so when you have somebody who has been sent there purposely to work, that person shoots. Any gunshot is recorded. You have to come and explain why you shot this.
Sorry, is this the Edra incident or you're
any of them? The election is there. The people that were killed, it wasn't.
They deployed the military and police, not vigilante people. They deployed
no military man. No military man will go down there, look at the people, go down to his knees, shoot in between the people, target an individual, and want to shoot. No policeman, no military man will do that.
The military command from Kumasi, from
they
the
just decided to back the action.
Yes,
the point is
they didn't say that these people were not military.
No, the point is that if they had gone in there to tell the true story, we would have found out that these guys that were in there and were shooting were not real.
That will be your word against their own. I mean, I'm not sure that these distinguished men will go and lie before a committee. They are military people. They are people of higher rank.
Of course, we respect them.
Yes.
But they went in there to protect their profession, not to protect the interest of the nation. If not, they would have come out with whoever. Did you see them parading the person who shot before the committee? Somebody shot.
It was not in the report. It was not even in the report.
But it was live.
Yeah.
It was live. The military commander, the 4BN commander, was not at the scene.
Yeah.
But he appeared before the committee. Yeah. He knew the people he deployed to Ejura. Yeah. Did you see any of them being brought before the
Because he has
committee?
command responsibility over them.
Why did they bring the person who slapped some George and others at Ayawaso? Okay, why did they bring him before the panel?
Because we are unclear what those groups under national security belong to. Yeah. That's why we had to single out those ones.
So the police,
we knew that they were military people.
They were military people. So who shot? Who was the one? Who was that individual? Who shot? And why did he shoot? On which command did he shoot? All these things didn't come out.
The key point is whether or not the man who did that shooting was a vigilante. And I'm saying at no point was that even a dispute because the military owned the person.
Yeah. So let us know who that person is.
I get your point.
If we get to know who that person is, we will find out his military number. My father is 176413. I still remember my father's military number, 176413. What is his number? Let us find out. If you get to know his number, we will know when he went to the training center, who are his mates. That is the reason why they didn't bring that person before the cameras. If they have brought that person, we will find out who that person is.
Now, I get your point, but I need to move to the other thoughts we are having.
Yeah?
These are sometimes not so complimentary thoughts for somebody who wants to be national organizer. It's almost like, given the opportunity, you would deploy. And as I asked you whether you were one of those, you know, in every political party, they say there are DAVs and there are also other groups here. Whether you belong to that group, which is not mostly very nice to democracy, is actually hot-headed. Is that a kind of national organizer?
If the government won't give you security protection, you have to find your own security protection. We are not in there in the election just to go and be part of the election. We are going in there to win. Ghanaians won't forgive us if we don't win this election because the country is messed up.
Because it was a peaceful election. They actually want to be in a peaceful.
So they should come. They should come peace. If you don't speak the language your opponent understand, they will never communicate with you. If they come with peace, we'll face them with peace. If they come with wrath, we'll face them with wrath.
Because the question I'm asking you really is whether or not you are not going to be one of the people pushing for violence during the election.
There won't be any violence if there's a normal line of play. Would there?
Yes.
As we are speaking here, I've not slapped you.
I get you. Yeah? But yeah.
But if you slap me, I'll slap you. Nobody is above anybody here. We respect authority. We've been in power before. We gave them all the free room to operate. They won election. We handed over power to them. We'll not sit down for them to
but shouldn't the response rather be that if there is a slap, you report to the police?
No.
That's a legal
way. No. There are two ways in doing that.
It's also one way.
I've said it. Going around my campaign, I've used this analogy. Two ways in the Bible to foment peace. The first one is by Jesus Christ. The second one is by Moses. They all come with peace. Jesus says slap and you give the other one to him to slap. It's okay. The Moses one says slap and I slap. At this point, I disagree with Jesus Christ when it comes to election 2024. I believe in the Moses one. Slap, I slap.
But the only acceptable mode of response is what the law says.
But what if the law didn't say slap me?
Yes, but if I offend you, you report to the police.
But I'm saying that, look, I don't have the time to report you to the police. If I can equally slap you, I'll slap you. That's my policy. That's my mentality.
Is that kind of conscientization you are giving to the people across the country?
Well, I'm not giving them that, but I just want them to know that when Yamin is at the forefront, nobody messes with us.
There is also another thought that, I mean, you in the NDC are seeing this almost like a do-or-die affair.
Yeah, that's it.
And you are exemplifying that conversation.
Of course. I mean, I've just said this long and long ago. You see, what John Mahama said, they do or die, it's just words, statement of words. I mean,
but you don't believe in the...
Words will have to be translated into actions. And it's leadership within the party that to make the words of John Mahama translated into action. And I agree with that.
That should deploy violence.
When they want to come with violence, if that's the language they understand, we'll speak that language to them. Because the only means for them to communicate with us is for us to speak the same language they understand.
Well, so if the delegates today want somebody who gives that kind of response, you are the kind of person they should vote for.
Well, I don't know what the others are telling them, but I think that what the
Some
way
are saying
forward...
their experience. Others are saying that they are just close to the winning gates. For example, the current national organizer is saying, I pushed you from this percentage to this percentage. I'm just at the point of crossing the link to actually get to you there.
That is wrong. My political experience tells me that you go into any election with a clean slate. Because you go in there, the people who voted, for instance, the national organizer of the party, the people who elected him as a national organizer, we don't have the same crop of people coming in now. Some delegates may have changed, others decided not to go again. So when you say that I won with 20,000 votes, and so I have 20,000 votes in the basket, it means that you have a problem understanding political game. It's a free game. We are going into the election. with a clean slate. So it's about how you organize yourself into the election. It's about who you present as your flag bearer. It's about who you present as your parliamentary candidates. It's about the policies you put in place. It's about your security understanding of the elections. That will win you elections. It's not about what you did in Twitter. It's gone, it's past, it's history. The way forward is what we are going to do.
Now, what happened in the youth elections?
Yeah.
Going into this election, Bojaden, for example, complained about he's going to court, for example.
He said that.
No, he said that right here where you are seated. He said he's going to court.
That's his right.
Election. I agree with him that it is right. Yeah. But do you think it's the interest of the party?
Well, that's his. As of now, what I can do is what I'm doing now to be a national organizer. After every election, there are those that win jubilate, those that loses find a means of justifying their loss. But there's always a legal means for redress, and so he has that right to do it. When I finally become a national organizer, we'll see if we can talk this thing out. The laws have some time to execute, and so I think he's right to go in there. I've heard the national chairman say he's right, he can also go in there. Others also believe that that's his right. I think it's right as well. But after the national elections, what we call reconciliation, what we call patching up, what we call come together and let's move forward, is something that we'll be doing.
Have you seen the certified delegate list and you're convinced, because he's so convinced to avoid any problem in the Saturday election, it should be an election that has no difficulties with the list that is going to be used, because he feels that during the youth elections it was changed. Have you seen the delegate list? Are you convinced it's the appropriate one? You are also sure of the processes and the rules going into the game?
Well, you see, delegate lists are quite well. As a national aspirant, I should be receiving the list from the national headquarters. But I have the list and I'm working with the list already. So I don't need to bother myself and say, give me a delegate list. It's being worked on. What I do is that the constituencies will tell me which of their people. Today, we don't have proxies. So it means that if you don't come for the elections, the Congress, you can never vote. So we just need to identify how many people didn't come and how many people are voting. On the day of the election, the delegates themselves will tell us the delegate list. So the delegates will tell us the delegate list.
Okay, so I get your point. I'm talking about whether you're convinced it will be one without eventualities.
No. I don't see the elections having any difficulties. You see, the youth and women's ring is just a delicate election, looking at the numbers involved and the composition of the delegates. For instance, you have 10 members from accredited institutions coming. That's where you can manipulate the figure. So, okay, these schools are accredited, these schools are not accredited. And to say this is accredited, the youth organizer within the constituency, the region, and the national will have to approve all these things. So it's somehow delicate when it comes to manipulating it. But when it comes to the constituency delegate list, it's difficult for you to manipulate. So at this point, the national elections, you have 5 keen members from each region representing. So it's easy for you to identify who among the 5 that is going to come. But in other instances where you have almost about 80 or 90 coming, then you have to take some time to be able to say, okay, this person is coming from school A, school B, school C. It's not so with the national elections. I know my constituency executives.
Okay.
I know them.
Yeah, you're convinced there's nothing that's going to go wrong.
I'm not sure there will be any motive, any plan by anybody. If I'm winning the election, I don't need to. If I have what it takes, and that's why when I go out there, I don't talk about anybody, I talk about myself. I don't even have the time to talk about what I want to do. Why would I talk about somebody? So if I have all this and I'm confident that the delegates will vote for me, why should I turn around and want to manipulate the system? All the others, he heard Solomon Nkansah saying that he's winning the election because he has experience. But I don't expect Solomon Nkansah to want to do something behind the scenes to win because he thinks that delegates are convinced that he will win. I don't expect the national organizer to want to see that. But in these instances, nobody has the manipulating power among the contestants because it's an electoral committee that is supervising the elections. They are not contesting, so they don't have interest who and who. So a national organizer cannot give them command. The national chairman cannot give them command. The general secretary cannot give them command. They go by their command. And that is what is important. I don't see any manipulation in this election. Even if they manipulate, fortunately, Yamin will still win as national organizer of the party.
You are so sure and convinced that nothing will go against you winning.
Yeah, I know I'm winning the election.
And it's purely based on the message you have given to the people.
Yeah, I've just told the people what they want to hear, what they want to see, what they believe should be the way forward for the party. I think that it's going to work.
Recently, there were talks about, tapes being leaked and counter accusations between the national chairman and aspirants. Is that healthy for the party?
Why don't you let me talk about it?
No, of course, I want to know because, regardless of it, you will be the chief operator of the party.
Yes, so when I get to that level,
then you come and answer this particular. No, but it's equally important. I need to know your thoughts on that.
I don't, in fact, I'm hearing it for the first time.
Oh, you've not heard?
No.
You've not heard of the tape?
I'm so serious.
Campaigning, so you probably have not been told about.
In fact, for the past 2 years, I've not listened to news.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you were just
serious,
campaigning.
I don't listen out of your news. But
Yes.
Unfortunately, I've not. I didn't have time to watch my favorite teams. I had Ghana and I had Argentina. Unfortunately, I didn't watch any of their matches because I'm just on the move.
Because you don't want to talk about the current happenings in the party.
No, it's because I'm focused. I need to meet constituency executive, talk to them about why Yamin needs to be your national organizer. Mm-hmm. So I have no time to even monitor your news. How much more monitoring what other aspirants are also doing out there?
There's a point about, the Ashanti region and how, for example, the MPP feels that it's World Bank and where most of its votes is from. And those of you candidates from the Ashanti region mostly are very special because your ability to reduce the votes of the MPP goes a very long way to help the NDC win. What's the feeling of the people of the Ashanti region about current governance?
Very bad, very disappointing. MPP
It's not you just talking as an NDC person.
No. I'm talking as somebody from the Ashanti region. I'm not sure. See, the reason why Nanado comes to Ashanti is tweeted that the people are disappointed. There's so much disappointment in Ashanti region. They don't even want to hear the name of the MPP.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
the reality.
The stronghold of the party doesn't want to hear it.
It's not a stronghold of the party anymore.
How do you come to this conclusion?
Because
at least the last election is ample evidence of how strongholds operate.
You see, the last election,
the
MPP, people thought they could give them another chance to want to remedy the situation. But they've now come to the realization and conclusion that they made a mistake by giving the MPP another opportunity. It never worked. Kumasi is in a mess. The stronghold of the MPP are so much disappointed. Go and find out Kumasi. Today in Ashanti region, you won't get fufu. Some are selling fufu, one ball, for 15 Ghana cedis. How much would you buy to fill yourself?
One ball, 15 cedis.
And I told the people, when people disagree with me, that we eat fufu in Kumasi with egg. You can buy meat. So every joint, fufu joint, there's egg attached to it. So you see people buying.
Not because it's a new trend, but
it's not a new trend. It's just that is what they can afford. Even with the egg, they used to buy 2. Now it's reduced to 1 because the egg is now becoming expensive. Things are very expensive in the Ashanti region. It's going to translate into votes.
You believe so?
Oh, very well.
People say that it will rather translate into people not necessarily voting, but not voting for the NDC. Right?
No, if they don't vote, you see, in political party, if your opponents don't vote for you, percentage-wise, you go up.
Yeah.
Because when they don't vote, your percentage comes down. And so the little you get from your side, it shoots your percentage up. So in any case, whether they voted or don't vote, I know that when they go in there to want to vote, they will vote against the MPP. I don't see anybody with the kind of performance of the MPP being confident in, apart from the MPP themselves, who, whatever means, whatever is their reason, that they will break the 8. And I don't know how they are going to do that. Their confidence level is one thing that the NDC should be scared of. It's not that they have done something better, but I think that they have another means of breaking the 8. But that will not happen, especially when
what do you mean by another means?
I don't know. They can never break the 8 with this kind of performance.
So when you say that, you think they have another means?
If they are confident to say they break the 8, they have another means of doing that. So we want to find out what that means is, then we put a counter to it.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, because I see the MPP as terrorists.
No, but
it's a terrorist organization. No. You see, I have studied. Let me school you a little.
No,
let me school you.
With respect.
Let me school you. You see, let me school you. I'm a student of security. I understand what I'm talking about.
No,
let me school you. See, let me tell you. You know what? You know. You see, I'm coming.
You cannot call a political party a terrorist.
Yeah. See, any group that inflicts. I'm coming. Any group. No. You are making it that way. Any group that inflicts harm on its citizen is a terrorist organization.
What do you mean by
that? So just find out. So try to understand what is terrorism. Yes, the Ghanaian is suffering.
It's terrorism.
The Ghanaian.
That's not terrorism.
That's terrorism.
Really?
Yes, they are inflicting harm on the ordinary Ghanaian. Today, Ghanaians cannot buy food to eat 2 times a day. They can't. They are buying.
And that makes a government.
Yes, people are being this. You don't. So okay, so what do you want? What should I say?
Was the NDC terrorist in 2016?
That is how. If they concluded like that, they are free to do that.
I'm asking
people were eating 3 times a day. Today they are eating once a day. You say that it's not harm. Yes, people were eating 3 times in a day.
I mean,
we were buying fuel at 14 cedis. Yes, the hardship is an untold hardship. When you bring untold hardship to people, it's a terrorist activity.
Okay, so I would not encourage that you proceed with using the word. That's fine.
So what is
no, on this network? West. You can do it elsewhere, but with respect, we cannot use that one here. So I hope that's fine.
I don't have a problem.
I mean, I would have gone as far as asking you to retract and apologize. But I'm not sure you have any inclination to do so, but with respect.
My understanding of it.
No, sorry.
But I don't think you want it to go that way.
Brilliant. So I mean, the question I'm asking you is how the people in the region are going to.
That's what I'm saying. That the people are suffering. People are suffering, and I don't see them in any way going to vote for the MPP. No, I don't. They are suffering, really suffering. They are suffering more than Ukrainians are doing under Russian attack.
Anyway, now one last question before we go, because my time is actually up here. Okay. Now, you are convinced you will win.
Yeah.
If you don't win on Saturday,
it doesn't come into the picture.
No, I'm asking hypothetically.
No. I won't answer that question.
Would you support those?
I won't answer that question because I'm winning. So when you ask the others whether they will support me, that's fine. But I'm winning, so I don't need to talk about whether it doesn't work or not. I'm very confident.
I'll be on Saturday. I'll be looking out for the organizer position and seeing how it goes. We're supposed to have the national organizer himself join the conversation, but apparently his K-Post engagements have not ended anytime soon, so that's where we couldn't get him to join in. Anyway, but many thanks to you for joining us in studio, Joseph. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
We wish that you could tone down on the, what they call it, support for vigilantism, but that's fine.
I am not supporting vigilantes. I am supporting my party.
Folks, that's where we end today's edition of UPfront. Many thanks to you, Seb, once again for coming in the studio anyway.